In this video, I want to break down some of the key factors which will help you decide whether you should or shouldn't start your very own car cleaning business in 2024. We're going to be covering the topic as a whole, so we're not just going to be looking at car detailing, we're also going to be looking at car valeting as well. And we're also going to be doing some comparable data checks with what was going on this time last year, just to see whether it's really going to be worth your while. So what's actually changed since this time last year? Well, I would say that the middle market has completely gone. Now, the way that I looked at my business was having three types of categories. You had the people who didn't have a lot of money, like myself. You then had the top end market who always booked you no matter what. They were recession-proof customers. But then you had this middle market, the people who were up and coming, who weren't quite there yet, who could afford a nice new car, but then they didn't always want to put their hands in their pockets and get a good clean out of it. Now, they're going to be those types of clients that I call the middle market. Now, when you look at the used car industry as a whole, there's no lie that things are getting very serious. Now, the people who have got money, the recession-proof clients that we're always on about, the ones who can afford a brand new 911 GT3, for example, they're going to be no problems. But it's the ones who want to dip their toe into the market. They want to get a 911 or they want to get a supercar, but they're going for the cheapest supercars they can possibly find. And it also goes for the clients out there who are looking for luxury cars, or they want to get a high mileage Range Rover, for example. That market has completely crashed. Now, the problem is, for most of you, they were always going to be the clients that filled in the gaps between your regulars and your yearlies, because I used to get this. I had people who, let's just say they bought a brand new Lexus 4x4, and we're going back quite a few years now. They were the type of clients who would call me once and never again. Not because they weren't satisfied with the service, they simply didn't want to get anything else done after that. They were happy to maintain it themselves. And I actually like those types of clients because I could get a good day's rate from them. Now, if they had a brand new car, or let's just say they got their used car, which was quite high mileage, they just wanted to make it look as good as new, they would never go for a full detail, but what they'll go is for something like a full valet. So we're not talking about paint correction, we're talking about giving it a deep clean, sterilising everything, and just making it look nicer, giving it a nice hand polish and a wax afterwards. That was normally the type of client who would go for that type of service. So I knew ultimately every time that I did one of those cars, I was always going to get more work from the back of recommendations. But now those types of clients are struggling. And this is the people who are in that £50,000 to £100,000 a year price bracket where they're paying ridiculous tax. So they're still no better off than the people who are on a less of an income. Now, they're the types of clients now who are just saying, we're just going to do the cars ourselves. And they're actually the ones who are now watching the channel, getting advice on products and how to do things as well. So it's not really affected my detailing channel much, in a sense of those people coming to watch my stuff. But I know that there's going to be quite a few of you out there who are going, I can't keep my diary fully booked. And another problem that you are going to be facing is the crazy amounts of rain that we're having recently. Now, this just goes for the UK. I'm not going to speak for the rest of the world because I simply don't know what's going on there. But in the UK right now, every single day that we're getting, it's not actually cold. It's just really sodding wet. So those middle clients are then going to say, well, we really don't want you coming out on a rainy day. This is a one-off treat for my car. We have to pick the best days possible. And that's when it leaves you in a bit of a pickle, because now you're trying to delegate which clients you're going to prioritise when the weather is good. And then you get a backlog of people. And then you're thinking, well, look, there's just someone is going to be let down here. There's no way I can physically take it all on. Now, I know that there's going to be a fair few numbers who want to go out and get some extra work. It's quite good to take staff on, but you can't give them a guaranteed income permanently. It's such an up and down business. There's no way that you can categorically say, right, I'm going to pay you this every single month and we're going to be mobile valeters and we're literally going to smash it every single day because the weather's going to be wonderful. It just doesn't work like that. It's very unpredictable, it's very volatile, and I know so many detailers right now who are talking to me every single day, and we're always discussing about what's going wrong with their businesses right now, and they're saying the same thing. We are being killed off by the weather, but not only that, we now have to chuck in the fact that it's getting harder and harder to find these one-off clients. So there has been a decrease in clients, but there's also been an increase in startup businesses. Now that makes things even more difficult. And now we've also got to look at the cost of chemicals, which has increased, the tools. Luckily, on the only plus side that I can say from this is the fuel hasn't drastically gone up. It's been quite stable, and it looks like it's going to be stable for the next 12 months or so. Now, I want to take a look at some actual data from Google Trends. Now, I've got 3 search terms here from Google based in the UK. It goes car detailing, car valeting, and car cleaning. Now I want you to pause the video in a few seconds because I want you to ask yourself, which one of these 3 topics do you think has been searched the most on Google? Is it detailing, valeting, or car cleaning? Go. Now, if you said car valeting, you would be wrong. But also, if you said car detailing, surprisingly, you're wrong as well. In fact, if you search the term car cleaning, you're going to find out it's going to get you double the amount of search traffic compared to valeting and detailing put together over the previous 5 years. So going forwards, you should really be calling yourself a car cleaner if you want to get the best of both. You shouldn't be calling yourself just a detailer or a car valeter. Now, why would you only call yourself a detailer? Well, quite frankly, you just might want to fizzle out some of the clients that you might not want. So you might not want the cheaper end of clients. You may just want to focus on detailing. So my argument is this: call yourself a car cleaner, go for the best of both worlds, and if there is a client you simply don't want to do, just get rid of them. So look, we can't avoid the fact that January is probably one of the worst months to be a car cleaner or a car detailer. Christmas isn't actually that bad because you get tips which pretty much keep you going, and they actually keep you going in time to pay your tax bill at the end of January. Come February though, we actually see a little bit of an increase here, which is quite interesting from last year's data, which is something I didn't actually expect to see. I thought it was going to be quite slow and steady until April because I just really didn't think that everything had picked up, but it turns out it had. And in fact, it went all the way up to May and June where it was looking really good, and I was thinking, okay, this is going to be a massive opportunity for new businesses to start up as we hit the summer. But in fact, it then dropped from June onwards, and it stayed low all the way until November, when once again we had a huge spike. Now that might have been to do with November being an incredibly wet month, which means the cars were getting dirtier quicker, and it meant that there was going to be more work, more opportunities out there because people were just getting their cars cleaned more regularly. So you've got to take the rough with the smooth. You're going to get these months where it just goes very up and down. I think you've got to take as much work as possible when it's busy, but also just come to terms with the fact that when it's quiet, you just got to get on with it, get your head down, and just pray to the gods that someone's going to look after you. Because I think over the last 16 years that I've been doing this, that's pretty much how I've got on with things. I've just learnt to accept it. So personally, I believe January's going to be a difficult month. Now, look, I know last February things did get slightly better, and it was looking quite positive. But this year, I think the negativity around people... I spoke to my friend yesterday, and he was like, oh, it's January, I can't face this. Everyone's miserable, everybody's depressed, I want to go on holiday. And it wore off on me. As soon as I got in the door, I said to my wife, I want to go on holiday, everybody's miserable, it's depressing. I don't even know what colour the sky is anymore. Because is it blue? Who even knows? Because we haven't had any blue sky for ages. It's just raining every single day, and we're not even getting any proper daylight out there at the minute. So I think there is just such a negative atmosphere. I think the next couple of months are going to be challenging, but also from the side of things that because people don't want to pay someone to clean their cars as much, they're going to be looking to buy domestic products. So I can see a spike for the sales in terms of the domestic brands. Your Maguires, your Infinity Wax, your Autoglim. I imagine all of them are going to be selling a lot more products throughout the year. And we really cannot ignore the cost of chemicals because the chemicals have been slightly going up. I think it's now time to be very serious about your purchases. I think ideally you should be going for at least 5 litres minimum if you're going to be buying any particular product. If you're buying a shampoo, it makes sense to get a 5 litre shampoo over a 500 mils. If you're going to say, oh, look, I want to try it before I buy it, do you know what? Most shampoos are pretty much the same. Most of them are pH neutral. Most of them foam up quite well. And you're not really going to have any problems. If you're going to be using something that isn't pH neutral, just be very careful that you don't stain any of the trims on the car if you've got something like a Mercedes-Benz, for example. But just because you're not out cleaning cars, it doesn't mean that you can't earn extra money. I make quite a bit of money off YouTube, Facebook, Amazon. I make it off affiliate marketing. I have sponsorships of videos. Now, I'm doing a lot of things through YouTube, but I've just started dabbling in Instagram for the first time properly ever. I've always posted things on Instagram just for the hell of it. I've never put together a strategy or even wondered why I did it. I just posted things willy-nilly and hoped, okay, if it does well, it does well. More people are going to find the channel. But I'm watching what other people are doing now on Instagram, and there's so many detailing channels out there and pages where they're not getting in front of the camera, they're not talking, they're just filming whatever. It doesn't matter whether it's snow foam or a cleaning or satisfying videos. Yeah, I don't think that's going to the right people, to be honest. I think if you're doing that hoping to get some extra work out of it, all you're doing is catering to the people who like those ASMR style videos, or they just want something to pass the next 20 seconds. I think if you can provide actual information and talk about your services and Let me give you another example. If I was offering, let's just say, a bronze, a silver and a gold valet, and I wanted to get people interested in the bronze valet, and I wanted to sort of guide them into the silver one, I'll do an Instagram video. It doesn't have to be a 90-second reel. You can do it even longer. And I'll talk about the pros and cons between each service and what would make it better value for money if they go for the mid-range one, because that's always the best one to go for, in my opinion. Things like that. You could really talk to people. Once you put your face on the camera, they're like, I like the sound of this guy. I hope he can come and clean my car. And it's a great advertisement, and you don't need to spend an absolute fortune if you want people to come to you. You can literally do it through Instagram. You can tag your location. You can follow, let's just say, local businesses in your area. I'm in Surrey. If I'm going to try and reach out to everybody in my area, I want to follow as many businesses as possible, but also make a note just to give them a nice little message. Just send them an Instagram message. What's the worst thing that are going to happen? They're either going to block you or say no. There's nothing to worry about. Just send them a message. Hi, I'm in the area. Check out my page. I've got loads of different services. If you're interested, I could do you a special offer as you're a local client. Simple as that. Oh, and another thing that you really have to avoid like the plague is these companies who will message you on Instagram and social media. Hi, would you like a logo done? Would you like your website done? I'm going to get you loads of leads. How about I can get you some more clients? Ignore all those people. Just press the block button and be done with it. It's going to be a regular fact of life that you're going to get it on a daily basis. They have got absolutely no value whatsoever. This is nothing you can't do on your own. Now, you don't need any cartoon, stupid logos. You don't want a cartoon sponge with bubbles, Mr. Soapy or whatever. That's a dying trend from the 90s and nobody should be going for that. And also, you really don't need to spend a lot of money on getting all your clothing done and getting it all embroidered like this. You don't need any of that stuff. Honestly, I've never really bothered myself. I just don't really see the point in it. As long as you're wearing plain black clothes, you can pretty much get away with it. You're going to be wearing a coat most of the time. Ideally, if you do want to get some more clients and you're thinking it's going to potentially benefit your business, get it later down the line. Initially getting yourself off the ground, it's going to cost you a good couple of £100 if you want to get all your shirts, your jacket and everything all done with your logos. I just think that you could better spend that money on something like a steam cleaner or a pressure washer or even an air compressor. So my best advice is get yourself a whiteboard, get yourself some plain paper and just doodle as many different notes as possible. It's probably the easiest way that your brain is going to be able to process everything. So I like to do that every couple of months with content. I like to come up with an idea and then I write several variations around it and try and pick what works for me. I think it's the same thing that you can apply to your business. Who is your target audience? How are you going to do it? Are you really going to go for this difficult middle market where there's someone who's getting a car? They're probably only going to use you once in their lifetime or maybe once a year at best. Are they going to be the right clients for you, or do you want to go for more consistent work? Go for the easy maintenance cleans, go for the rich and famous, go for those types of people. I still think there is a massive opportunity to make a lot of money with them. In fact, I'm still doing it right now myself. Although I said I was going to give it all up, there's still a few clients who are literally, I know that if everything else went completely tits up, I would be fine just living off those 4 clients because they just look after me so flipping well. That's the type of client you want. You want someone who's got 10 cars plus, and do you know what? There is an abundance of them. You've just got to look hard enough. I know not everyone's going to be living in those nice fancy areas, but sometimes it will require you to doing a bit of driving. There are also rich people all over the UK. You can find them. You've just got to market yourself in such a good way. Go for a nice brand like this. Don't go for anything that's cartoony or gimmicky, because all you're going to do is just appeal to the wrong audience. And you can make a really good business out of this, and you don't necessarily have to be a mobile valeter your whole life. You can start off, you can learn the tricks of the trade, you can drive around in your car. If you've got a Ford Fiesta, chuck everything in the back of that. I've been making do with an Audi TT and it's still done me a good turn anyway. But you don't necessarily have to do it forever. You can gradually evolve it into detailing as your skills get better. You don't necessarily have to pay a fortune to learn all this stuff. There's a lot of good detailers out there on YouTube who are teaching you everything you need to know, not just the basics. So I hope this video's helped. If you want to see more videos like this, or you want to know how much it's going to cost to start a business, I will be doing another video in the next couple of weeks. So make sure you hit the subscribe button and give us a thumbs up. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.